Namo Buddhaya. So many people in this society may think that in order to live a happy life, always we should gather the things to ourselves. We should surround ourselves with comfortable things. And they may think that we should not give anything to anyone. Giving is a waste. That is how people think. And also people ask why we should give the things to others. Because others can also earn what they want. So why we should give? Well, today from this Inner Guide Q&A program, we are going to find why we should give and also what are the benefits of giving. Let's talk about why we should give. Right? So giving is an act of kindness. Right? Being generous is an act of kindness. Right? If you have a kind heart, if you have a compassionate heart, you will tend to give more to people. Right? Do you know the meaning of the compassion? Compassion means the feeling of sympathy or feeling of sad when someone is going through a hardship. Right? If you have that compassionate heart, you will try to give more to this world. Because world needs the humans' help. Humans need humans' help. So that is why Supreme Buddha taught us that you should give. Because if you give, when you are giving something to someone, now suppose you are giving food to a person who is very hungry, suffering with hunger, right? If you give that food to that person, he will feel comfortable, right? He will overcome his hunger and he will be happy maybe for one day. But when you give that food to that person, you will feel happy, right? You will feel a mental happiness within yourself. That happiness will last long until the end of your life. Whenever you remember that act of kindness that has done by yourself, you will feel very happy about yourself. You can be proud about yourself. That happiness cannot be bought for money. Remember. And also, giving is an act that the people with stronger mindsets, stronger personalities always do. The people who are with low qualities, bad qualities will not give. Right? They are not generous. They are a bit stingy in their life. Right? They always think, if I need to be happy, I need to gather the things. I need to surround myself with pleasurable things. I should not give. Giving is a waste. That is how they think. That is why we need to practice the generosity. If you need a happiness that lasts long forever, start giving. See the joy of giving. It is very joyful and it is very enjoyable. So it is how amazing that when you see a person who is overcoming his hunger, having the food that is given by you, and when he is smiling, you feel that mental happiness, right? That is one of the greatest happy moments that we'll have in your lives. So that is why you need to give always. Be a generous person. Okay, then let's talk about that what are the benefits of giving. Supreme Buddha taught us there are 5 benefits of a generous person. There are 5 benefits that can be found to a generous person. Number 1, Supreme Buddha said, he will be agreeable and he will be a nice and pleasurable person to many people. Right? When you give something to someone, they will be happy. Right? If you are a donor, if you are a generous person, always when people see yourself, they become happy. They may think, oh, this person is very generous. He's a nice person. He's a kind person. So he will be agreeable to many people. That is the first benefit. Number 2, Supreme Buddha said, good people will surround him. He will get into the association of good people. Now, if you have that quality, the generosity within you, it is the nature of this world that same things, the people will with same qualities get together. Right? If you have the generosity, the people who are with the same mindset will surround you. It goes with another way. If you have the stinginess or if you have the evil thoughts within you, the people who are with evil thoughts will surround you. Evil friends will surround you. So if you are generous, always, noble people, good people, the people with good generosity will surround you. You will get into association with good people. That is the second benefit. Third one, Supreme Buddha said, he will acquire a good reputation in this world. Remember, people are not talking about your wealth. People doesn't talk about your wealth. Only people talk about how generous you were, how kind you are. That is what they talk about. So what you have to do, you need to give. You need to be generous. If you are being generous, you will acquire a good reputation in your life. The fourth benefit is, Supreme Buddha said, his life will be virtuous. You will acquire a good personality which is fault-free and which is free from the defilements, which is free from the evil things in your life. Because you are generating more compassionate thoughts towards others. You are generating more generous thoughts to others. So the more you generate these wholesome thoughts, the more you will have a good personality within you. So if you need to become a good person, if you need to become a virtuous person, if you need to have a confident personality, what you have to do? Be generous. Number 5, the final quality. Supreme Buddha said, by being generous, one acquires lots of merits. And as the result of those merits, Supreme Buddha said, he will have a good rebirth. Most of the people are not having a good rebirth in this world. So if you need to have a good rebirth, what you have to do is be generous, give to others. Giving is something that gives you the happiness. Gathering and holding on to the pleasurable things is something that makes you suffer. So start giving and see the joy of the giving and find the ultimate happiness in your life. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome you all wonderful people and my dear sons and daughters. Today, we are going to learn about the essence of Buddhism. Now, you may be having a question. What is the essence of Buddhism? What the Buddha really teach to us? Well, the Buddha answers this question from 3 separate verses, where you can find them in Dhammapada. In case if you are wondering what is Dhammapada, Dhammapada is a set of verses which was originally preached by the Buddha in certain occasions due to certain incidents that happened in the Buddha's time. So we have 423 verses in Dhammapada which are categorized into 26 chapters, and in the 14th chapter, which is known as the Buddha Vagga, which gives the meaning of the chapter of the Buddha preaches and Buddha teaches us about the essence of the advice of the Buddhas, or essence of the Buddhism. Now, first of all, in this video, I'm going to share with you the first verse, and also I'm going to make another 2 videos for the other 2 verses. So from this video, we're going to learn the first verse and the meaning of that verse. So before everything, I'm going to chant it for you. So listen closely, and after that we are going to learn the meaning of it. The verse goes like this. Sabba papassa akaranang kusalassa upasampada sachitta pariyodapanang etang buddhana sasanang. Okay, let's learn the meaning of that verse. Sabba papassa akaranang kusalassa upasampada. Let's take these two lines and learn the meaning. Sabba papassa akaranang. Buddha teaches us, avoid all evil deeds. Avoid all evil things from your life and cultivate the good or the wholesome things in your life. Now, when we think about our mind, when you just think about your mind, it's very prominent, it's very clear that we have a higher sensitivity to negative things, or they're called the evil things like anger, jealous, hatred, selfishness, laziness, ego. All those evil things are very easy to cultivate through this mind, in this mind. Is that true? Yes, that is true, right? It's very easy to get angry. It is very easy to feel jealous. It is very easy to hate someone. So Buddha says, to avoid all evil things, what you have to do, cultivate more wholesome things in your mind. For an example, if you get angry all the time, little by little, try to practice the love and kindness. Try to practice the patience in your mind. That is what Buddha says. So what you have to do to avoid evil things, you have to cultivate more good things. That is the only way that we can avoid the evil things from our mind. To avoid any kind of bad habit, the only way is to replace that bad habit with a good one. Practice something good in the time that when you are about to do an evil thing. So that is what Buddha said. To avoid all the evil things, cultivate more wholesome qualities like love and kindness, patience, tolerance, and unselfishness, compassion, dedication, courage. So when you take about these wholesome qualities, it is very hard to practice. It's very hard to have the love and kindness inside your mind for a long time. We feel angry with people. But although these things are hard and difficult to do, what we have to do is we have to practice it little by little. We will fail, we will fall, we will cry. But we should not give up. That is what Buddha said. So to avoid all the evil things and to cultivate more wholesome qualities, and also Buddha said, sachitta pariyodapana, to cleanse one's mind. Now Buddha taught us, when you get these evil thoughts, these are called the defilements, right? The greed, the hatred, and the ego, or which we called the delusion. These three defilements makes our mind impure. Buddha said that the normal nature, by nature, our mind is very pure and it's very bright. But when we have this incoming defilements like greed, anger, and delusion, selfishness, what happens to our mind is it becomes impure. So to make your mind pure and cleanse it, cultivate the wholesome qualities in your life. Buddha said, etang buddhana sasanang. This is the advice of the Buddhas to this world. So see how peaceful advice that the Buddha gave to this world. So everyone can practice this, right? There is no religious difference. There is no any bounds or any rules to practice this. Anyone can. We all can practice this, right? So when we practice, what happens to our life? We get happiness, right? We get that self-happiness about our life. So many people out there, they don't have that ability to be happy about themselves because they are doing these evil things. These evil things bring the sadness and the suffering and the regret to our life. So easily, the Buddha said, instead of doing evil things, try to practice something wholesome, something good. So what we all have to do, regardless of any kind of religion, we have to cultivate more good deeds and good emotions and good intentions, good thoughts inside our mind. As a result, surely we will get the happiness to our life. So do good and be good. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. We've all heard these words more than 1,000,000 times in our life, and that is to let go of the attachments, and then we will be happy. But saying this is easy, but doing this practically, it is really, really difficult. So let's discuss about what it truly means to let go and let go of the attachments and how to approach it in the correct way. Oftenly, the common perspective of letting go of the attachment is that people think that we have to let go of the things that we are being attached to. That means attachment is occurred by these objects around us. So that to let go of the attachments, we have to let go of the things and then we will be happy. Now, I have heard that people say that, oh, even the Buddha said that let go of everything and then you will be happy. But Buddha never said to let go of the things or let go of the things that you are being attached to. And also, the Buddha never said that you have to be attached to the things around you. What Buddha said is that understand and realize that one day you have to let go of the things that are around you. And also one day you'll have to be separated from the things and from the people that you love and like one day. And realize this and live with them. While living with them, you have to realize that one day this is the reality of my life, that I will have to be separated from them. These things are subjected to change. And that is the true understanding about letting go of the attachments. One of the misconceptions about attachment is that people think, oh, attachment is an object. So that to let go of the attachment, we have to let go of that object. But this is not correct, because if we have to let go of the attachment and if we have to let go of the things that we have been attached to, then we will never be able to let go of these attachments. Why? Because as human beings, when we come to this world, there are so many things that are around us. There are so many things that we use, right? So if we had to let go of the things, then we will never be able to do that. Because even the body that we use is an object. Right? This is not something that we truly own. So if we have to let go of the things, then we have to let go of even our body. But we can't do that in reality. So that understand, the attachment is not an object. Attachment is more of a mind-related thing. Just look at these words from the Buddha. The Buddha said, "They are not sensual pleasures, the pretty things in the world. A person's sensual pleasure is lustful intention. The pretty things remain just as they are in the world, but the wise remove the desire for them." So what Buddha says is, just let the pretty things in the world stay in the same way, and you let go of the desire to wanting to them to be in the way that you want. Wanting things to be permanent is what we have to let go. How we should do that? We should understand that everything is subjected to change. Everything is subjected to impermanence, where we expect things to be permanent and that is what makes us suffering. So then one can ask, if we let go of the desire, will we be able to enjoy the things? Now, here's the thing. The Buddhist understanding about desire is that it is the mental attachment and thinking that these are mine, these are myself, this is me. It's like dragging a cow from its rope around its neck. Like the cow pulls to his side and we pull to our side. And what happens to us is that our hands get hurt. The reason why our hands get hurt is not because the cow is pulling to his side. The reason why our hand gets hurt is we are gripping the rope so tightly and we are not ready to let go. And at first, letting go of the rope seems scary. Why? Because we think that we might lose the cow. The cow might run away. But in reality, if we simply let go, yes, the cow may run for a distance, but it will always come back. That's the nature. Even in the life, letting go of the attachments seems scary at first. But when we realize that in this life we have gained nothing and we have lost nothing, it is very, very easy to let go. The reality is that in life, we are not owners of anything. We came to this life owning nothing, and we are living this life owning nothing. So in this little time, we are just using these things around us. So we are not true owners, or we haven't gained anything. So if we haven't gained anything, what we have lost. So how can we train our minds to let go of the attachments? What we should practice? Now, the first step of letting go is to understand the true nature of life. What is the true nature of life? That everything, every experience, every feeling, everyone in our life is subjected to this inherent nature of change. We are constantly changing, right here, even right now. When you understand this, you understand that life is nothing but a bunch of changes. So that when these things change, that we have nothing to hold on to as permanent and wanting things to be according to our own wish. Because the life is undergoing even the constant change right now, right here. When you realize that no one, nothing, no feeling, no experience stays forever in life, or in other words, you cannot step into the same river twice, you realize that thinking about this life as permanent, wanting things to be permanent, is nothing but just an illusion of your mind. We are being eluded from our ignorance. That is what we realize by realizing the true nature of this change in life. It is something like this. Imagine you are going to a magic show and watching the magic show. As long as you don't know how to do the magic, how the magic is done, then you get fooled by it. And as long as you get fooled by it, the magic is a magic for you. But what if we become friends with the magician and we learn how to do the magic? And then again you go to the same magic show and watch the magic show. Now the magic is no longer a magic for you. But still, you can watch the magic show, you can enjoy it, but you know how it happens. You know how it is done, so that you are not being fooled by anything. In the same way, when we realize that this illusion of our mind, that thinking about this permanent, thinking the life and experiences to be permanent is just an illusion of our mind, then you can enjoy the life, and also you can live life in a more wiser and a more experienced and a more matured way. So that is the way we understand about the attachment. This realization will make you more understanding about yourself and the world around you. And it will make you more easily enjoy this world in a more wiser and a more matured way. And also, by understanding about this constant change in your life, you let go of the attachment, you let go of this mind and the thought of wanting things to be permanent. And then the process of letting go will become much more easier. So understand that when we let go, we don't let go of the things. We let go of the mental and the emotional attachment towards things. We let go of that craving towards things, to wanting things to be permanent. And when you realize this, you can let go of this attachment and these expectations very easily. So that's a wrap for today's video. I hope you got some idea about attachment. So I wish you, may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you be happy forever. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the threefold practices in Buddhism. Now, no matter how the way that you are approaching the Buddha's teachings, these are the three practices that you need to practice in Buddhism. Okay? So we are going to take a look at these things. Before understanding these three practices, we have to understand why we should practice these things. Okay? What is the goal and what is the ultimate goal of Buddha's teachings? Now, the ultimate goal of all the Buddhist teachings is to liberate your mind from unsatisfactoriness. Okay? Liberate your mind from all the sufferings in life. Okay? Because the Buddha said that the life is based on unsatisfactoriness. Okay? So once you have a deeper and a wiser understanding about your life, then you can liberate your mind from all the unsatisfactorinesses in your life. Okay? So Buddha realized that to achieve this state, to enlighten your mind and to liberate your mind, you need to make some conditions and you have to practice your mind. So that is why Buddha introduced us these three practices to practice in our practical life in order to enlighten our mind. So, without any further ado, let's dive into these practices. So the first practice in Buddhism is called Sila. Now, I have discussed about Sila in an earlier video. You can watch it here. So basically, the Sila means the moral and ethical conduct. Being disciplined from your body and from your words. Okay? So once you practice this Sila, you can be disciplined from your body and from your words. Now, Buddha understood that when we are living with people, the way we behave, right, the actions that we do from our body and the words that we speak will impact the lives of other people as well as us. Okay? It will impact the life of ourselves, the way we behave and way we speak. And also, it will highly influence the others' lives too. And that is why Buddha said, purify your conduct. Do wholesome things from your body and from your words. So Sila helps you to practice the verbal and the physical conduct in a moral and a more ethical and wholesome way. Okay? So in Sila, we have precepts. Basically, for lay people like you, you have 5 precepts that you can protect. Okay? The first one is abstaining from killing beings. The Buddha says that stay away from killing beings. In that way, you become disciplined from your body. Abstaining from stealing. Do not take others' possessions without their permissions, without the permissions of themselves, with the stealing mind. Okay? Once you protect that, you be disciplined from your body. And Buddha said that stay away from sexual misconduct. When you abstain from sexual misconduct, you become disciplined from your body. And the Buddha said, stay away from lying. Be disciplined from your words. Do not break the trust of others from your words. And finally, Buddha says, stay away from intoxicating your body. Okay? Do not use intoxicants and other drugs. It will lead to harmful situations and harmful consequences in your life. So basically, Buddha introduced us these 5 precepts to protect in your life. When you observe and when you protect these 5 precepts, you become disciplined from your body. Okay? So that is why Sila helps you to be disciplined, to live a disciplined life. Why we should live a disciplined life? we should live a disciplined life to stay away from regrets. Because when you look at these 5 precepts, if you engage in these things, if you kill animals, if you steal others' possessions, if you commit sexual misconduct, if you lie, and if you intoxicate yourself, what will happen? There will be a lot of regrets in your life. And also there will be things that you have to worry about. That is why Buddha says, stay away from these 5 things and you will live a regretless life. Okay, so that is the first practice. Moving on to the second practice, we have samadhi. Now, samadhi can be translated as concentration or mental peacefulness inside your mind. Now, remember, this samadhi is supported by the first practice that is called the sila. The Buddha said, when you practice sila or when you live a moral and ethical life, what will happen? You will have less regrets in your mind. You will have no regrets in your mind. Once you have no regrets in your mind, what will happen? It will lead to the mental happiness. Because most of the people, they worry about the things that they have done in the past. Okay? Unwholesome things that they have done in the past. But once you live according to the precepts, once you live a virtuous life, then you can be happy about yourself. And also, your mind will be in a good and a happy state. That is why this samadhi is supported by the sila. Now, why we need samadhi? Now, we need samadhi to think clearly. Because you know that when your mind is busy, when your mind is scattered, and when it runs here and there, it is very difficult to think clearly. Now, Buddha considered that thinking clearly and thinking freely is a great benefit to understand the reality of your life. And that is why we need to practice samadhi. For practicing samadhi, Buddha introduced many meditations. So one type of meditation is called samatha meditation. Samatha meditations helps you to condense your mind and find that peacefulness inside your mind. Okay? It includes loving kindness meditations, breathing meditations, mindfulness meditations. All those meditations will help you to achieve a peaceful and a calm life. Okay? So, but remember this, to achieve a peaceful and calm life, we have to focus on living a virtuous life, living a disciplined life. Keep that in your mind. So let's move on to the third practice, and this is the final practice in Buddha's teachings. That is called wisdom or panya in Buddhism. Now, so many people think that knowledge is wisdom. Always remember, knowledge is a part of wisdom, but it is not the wisdom. Now, Buddha explains that you must achieve wisdom from 3 means, from 3 types of wisdoms. The first type of wisdom is called Suttamaya Panya. Suttamaya Panya means the wisdom that is gained through learning. Okay? You can learn, you can read, and you can listen to sermons, right? That is called the knowledge. Of course, wisdom has a part of knowledge. And also the second type of wisdom is called Chintamaya Prajna. Chintamaya Prajna is the wisdom that is gained by wisely reflecting. Okay? The wisdom that is gained by wisely reflecting on what you have learned, the reality of your life. When Buddha teaches about the reality of the life, when Buddha teaches about the impermanence and the reality of all the things, you have to wisely reflect on it. Okay? You have to think upon it. And once you think and once you wisely reflect on it, you gain the wisdom. You gain a deeper understanding. Okay? That is called Chintamaya Prajna, the wisdom that is gained by wisely reflecting. And also in the third type of wisdom, this is the most important type of wisdom, that is called Bhavanamaya Prajna, the wisdom that is gained by practicing. Okay? Now, the wisdom that is gained by practicing is supported by all those 2 wisdoms, Chintamaya Prajna and Suttamaya Prajna. The wisdom that is gained by listening or learning, and also the wisdom that is gained by wisely reflecting. Now, Buddha says, When you learn and when you think and when you wisely reflect on it, then you can apply it to your practical life by doing meditations, by doing it practically. Okay, many of the people believe that bhavana mein prajna is only based on meditations. No, bhavana does not mean only the meditation. It gives the meaning of development or practicing. Okay, so you have to look, how can I apply these Buddha's teachings? How can I practice these things in my practical life? Once you do it, your wisdom will be developed. That is how you practice the wisdom in Buddha's teachings. So basically, these are the three main practices in Buddhism. Sila gives you the ethical and wholesome bodily and verbal conduct. And Samadhi will help you to develop a concentrated and a calmer and a peaceful mind. And Prajna gives you a deeper and a wiser understanding about the reality and our existence and all the experiences that we go through in our life. Once you practice these three practices, you will be directed. Your life will be focused on liberation. Your mind will be well prepared for the liberation and to a deeper understanding about the life. So these are the three practices that we practice in Buddhism. Try to practice these things and try to apply it to your practical life. Wish you all happy and a peaceful life. Namo Buddhaya. What do you do when you want to give your fullest help to someone and you're willing to help someone, right? You are giving your best to help someone and still they don't understand your help. They don't understand the value of your help and they don't understand the consequences of their bad habits, the bad things that they do. What should you do? Well, this is one of the most common questions that I get asked from people. I need to help this person. I care about this person. I want to help that person. I'm giving the best of mine, but still, they're not ready to take that help. They're not growing up. What should I do? Should I help them or should I stop helping them? Well, I'll tell you the Buddha story, right? Buddha had a cousin and his name was Devadatta. Later, he became a monk. And in the beginning, he did fine. He did good. He was doing good. He did meditations and he was doing good, right? He became a monk under the Buddha's guidance. And little by little, the Buddha became famous. People started to gather around the Buddha. When Devadatta saw this, he became jealous on the Buddha. And he thought, no, I need to become the Buddha, right? I need to take this position. He thought that Buddhahood was a position that like a position that was in a company, right? That means like you swap the person and you can go to that position. It was not like that, right? So what happened? He tried everything, right? Devadatta tried everything to hurt the Buddha and harm the Buddha's life and kill the Buddha. But still, Buddha had the compassion in his heart towards Devadatta. And I came across this one part of the sutra that the Buddha says, it's amazing. The Buddha says that if there is anyone that I was thinking about day and night and giving my fullest to help, right, that was Devadatta. I was willing to give my best and I was thinking about him day and night to help this person. This person did not understand the consequences of his evil intentions, right? So Buddha was willing to help, but he did not get the help, right? And do you know when Devadatta learned the lesson? It was in his deathbed. In his deathbed, Devadatta told, I regret about the things that I did in the past towards the Buddha. From now onwards, I go for refuge to the Buddha. But sometimes it is late, right? So we need to understand that. For some people to learn lessons in life, it takes some time, right? It takes a long time to learn lessons, right? Sometimes you're giving your fullest help and they don't understand. That is the nature of people. Because capacities of people, mental capacities of people, how people view this world is different. Okay? So, if you care about someone, right? If you love someone, you need to give your best to help that person, right? You need to be willing to give your best to that person. Sometimes they will not understand it, right? In that case, please do not lose who you are, right? Do not lose your characters, good characters, in the name of helping that person, right? You have to protect yourself. If you only protect yourself, you can help that person, right? First, do not lose who you are, lose your characters, and lose your ethics to help someone. That is the first thing that you have to do. And then the second thing is that you need to understand, for some people to learn lessons in life, it takes time, right? So that you need to wait until that. Until then, you need to practice your compassion and your empathy towards that person. The Buddha said that I have empathy towards Devadatta. So in the same way, if we can have the empathy towards that person, that is the best thing to do. And the third thing is that you need to be willing to help, give your fullest help at any time when they are ready, right? Because sometimes when we give our help, right, we try our best and then we give up. And after some time, the person learns the lesson and they come back to us to get the help. And now we have the ego in our mind. We said, we always keep that past memories in our head and we said, no, I'm not giving you the help. If you truly care about that person, if you truly love someone, you need to be willing to give your help at any time, right? Whether they are in your life or out of your life, whatever the place, whatever the situation, if you truly care about that person's development, right, you need to be willing to help. So this is what we need. First, we need the patience. And then we need to give the time for people to grow and learn, right? Sometimes it works for you. And also we need to be willing to help that person, give the best to that person. And that is what we do in these kind of situations. So I believe that you got some idea about this situation. So I wish you, may all of you be healthy, happy, and may all of you be able to realize the 4 noble truths in this life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever lied to someone? Well, I know what you're thinking about. You will say to me, well, what are you talking about? We all have lied, right? That is the nature of all of us. Yes, it is the common human nature for all of us to lie, right? I got this question from one of the parents who is visiting our monastery. She asked from me, like, my daughter has this serious bad habit that she always lies to me, right? No matter what she does, she never tells the truth. What's the reason for this and how can I stop this? Then I asked from her, have you ever punished your child or scolded or yelled at your child just because she did a bad thing, she did a wrong thing, and she told the truth? She told you what she did. Have you ever done that? And she said, yes, I have done it many times, that I have scolded and I have punished my child just because she told the truth, right? And I told her, this is the biggest reason why children lie. And this is the biggest reason that people lie, most of the time. People lie because they're afraid of the punishments, right? And also, people lie because they are being punished in the past, even though they told the truth, right? So that is why I always advise for parents and people. No matter people, who are the people who you're living with, they will do mistakes, they will do wrong things. That is the human nature, right? But make them understand, no matter what bad thing or what wrong thing you did, tell the truth. If you tell the truth, there will be no punishment, there will be no anger in it. If you tell the truth, there will be love, affection, guidance, and understanding. That is what we need to practice, right? People lie because they're afraid of being punished and being afraid of that hurt and pain. And also one of the biggest reasons that people lie is because they're afraid of losing things. Okay? So if we can make an environment for people around us, for our loved ones, that there is this understanding, there is this love and care and guidance, so that they will always tell the truth to you, right? So I want to introduce you to this wonderful practice that we have in monks community, right? Because as monks, right, when we become monks, we get 227 precepts to practice, right? Sometimes these precepts are broken by ourselves, right? Most of the time it is because of lack of mindfulness or lack of awareness, right? Mistakes can happen. If we broke some precept, there is this practice called apati deshana. Apati deshana means if we did a wrong thing, or if we break a precept, what we have to do is we have to go to one of our brother monks and open up it, right? That means tell the mistake that we have done and tell them that I know and I see this mistake as a mistake, and hereafter I am trying my best to be disciplined, right? And the response from the other party is the most wonderful thing, right? The response always will be that I know and I see this mistake in you as a mistake. I understand that you have done a mistake. So from hereafter, you will be forgiven and you will be guided and you will get the help from the monks community to be disciplined, right? And that is what we all need to have in all of our families and people who we are dealing with, right? We need to have that understanding and guidance and love and care. And then people will always be truthful, right? Because people don't understand what are the bad effects and adverse effects of this lying. Most of the time people say, okay, I can say white lies, right? I can say white lies. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any bad thing, or it doesn't hurt me. Well, white lies do hurt you, right? Although you said it just because it is a small thing and doesn't hurt anyone, that is the start of a mistake. When you get comfortable with white lies, right, little by little you will get comfortable with big lies. So that is why we should not, that is why the Buddha said, when the Buddha defines that you should stay away from lying, when the Buddha said you should stay away from lying, Buddha never referred to any kind of colors of lie, or white lie, or red lie, or any kind of lie. Buddha said, be truthful, stay away from lying, right? So how can we understand this lying? The lying should be understood that the words that we speak with the intention of fooling someone, right? Putting him in a difficult situation and fooling someone, right? So these kind of words, we should not be spoken, and we should be always truthful, right? Being truthful in the beginning, it will a little bit hurt a little bit. It will be difficult a little bit. But being truthful has many, many benefits, right? So that is why we need to understand that lying is not good in any way, right? No matter it is a white lie or a red lie or any kind of lie, lie is harmful for all of us, right? If we can try to be truthful, if we can live our life in a truthful way, it will give you a huge satisfaction about your life. When you think about your life, how truthful you have lived, then it will give you a good sense of like happiness into your life, okay? So if you can create an environment of understanding, love and care and guidance, so then the people around you will not lie to you, okay? So tell to your children, no matter what you do, tell the truth. If you tell the truth, there will be no punishment, there will be no scolding, and only there will be love, care, and guidance. So keep this little advice in your mind and be happy. Okay, we are going to answer this question. This is one of the most common questions that most of the young people ask from me. Can Buddhism be explained through science? First of all, before answering this question, we need to clarify what is the objective of science and what is the objective of Buddhism. The objective of science, to simply say, to observe the outer world, explore the outer world. For an example, science, what science does is it observes this outer world, the planets, how the world works, how the nature works, how the technology works, how the current works, how the atoms, protons, neutrons, quarks, and this dark matter, everything works. The outer world, the material world. While Buddhism explores how it works within you, right? How the world that is within you works. Your mind, your consciousness, your perception, right? How these things form and how these things work. And also, Buddhism gives you the support to make your life, make your inner self better. Okay? So, to simply say, science explores the outer world, and Buddhism and spirituality, spiritual practices, explore the inner world. Okay? Now one can ask, can I explain Buddhism and can I prove Buddhism that is true through science? Not always you can do that. Because if you try to understand Buddhism through this perspective of science, through the scope of and through the frame of science, it's something like this. You're trying to explain something that goes into two opposite ways. Because science observes the outer world and Buddhism and spiritual practices observe the inner world. Can you fully explain what is within you through the science? No, because there are some parts that goes beyond the scientific experiments, scientific explanations. Okay? And there are some parts that spiritual practices and all these practices doesn't agree with science. Okay? So we need to understand that these two things serve different purposes, that we need to use these two things in different contexts and different places because we need both. One can say, I've heard people say that we don't need science, we just need spirituality, we just need Buddhism, we just need meditation. No. Without science, right, without the advancement of the science, how can we thrive, right? How can we make this world a better place? Look around us, right? Look how many things that science, how much better things that science has made. For an example, I'm talking to you, right? You're watching this video. Why? With the help of the science. Okay? So yes, we need science to thrive. We need science to make this world a better place, right? But we need to understand, science only cannot make this world a better place. Because science can make the material things better, give you the material comfort, make everything convenient, right? Make everything comes to your tip of your hand, right? And understand everything, the complexities of this universe. Science will do that. While Buddhism, spirituality will answer your spiritual problems, right? To make your life a better one, make your inner self more kind, right? More compassionate, more calmer person, right? It will help you to build up your inner qualities, inner values, right? So we need to practice and we need to understand these two things together, but we should not mess these things up. Okay? So then the question is, can Buddhism be explained through science? Up to some part. Not everything. Okay? Because simply it goes into two different ways. Okay? So we need to understand science as science, right? When we learn science and when we understand science, we need to understand it as it is. And when we come to Buddhism, we should not take the perspective of science to Buddhism and understand it, right? We should understand it as it is because it serves a different purpose. So when you practice these two in balance, right? And when you understand clearly what are the purposes of these two practices are, then it will be easy for you to practice and develop your outer self and also develop your inner self. Okay? So I hope you got some idea about the science and Buddhism. So I wish you all, may you be healthy, may you be happy, and may you be peaceful. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, from this video, let's talk about the benefits of practicing mindfulness and how mindfulness benefits for our daily Buddhist practice. Now, what should be practiced in Buddhism as Buddhist practice is Sila, Samadhi, and Prajna. These are the three practices that we practice in all through Buddhism. In whatever the state we are in, we practice these three practices. Sila is the virtuous behavior or moral conduct. And we've discussed about Sila in a separate video. If you haven't watched it, and if you don't know what Sila is, you can watch it right here. So Sila is basically the ethical and the moral conduct, or in another word, virtuous behavior, or being disciplined by your body and by your words. So mindfulness helps us to practice Sila in a good way, in a more productive way. And also the second practice is Samadhi. Samadhi is the mental concentration, being able to be in practice the one-pointedness in our mind and to practice that tranquility in our mind. It's called the Samadhi. And final practice is Prajna. Prajna means the wisdom, understanding about the true nature of life, and fully understanding about the three marks of existence: the anicca, the impermanence; dukkha, that's the suffering; and anatta is the non-self. So how mindfulness helps to practice these things. First of all, let's talk about how mindfulness benefits to practice the Sila. Now, Sila is the virtuous behavior, as we said before. So before talking about these things, let's learn about what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is the practice of or ability to be fully aware in this present moment with more wholesome mindset. When you practice mindfulness, it is really, really easy to practice Sila. Why? Because Sila is all about being disciplined from your body and from your words. So if you're mindful about your bodily actions, what you are going to do, okay, and what you are going to say, then you keep a good gatekeeper to your actions. Now, sati is often referred to as mindfulness in Buddhism, and the Buddha said that sati is like a gatekeeper to your mind, or the mindfulness is like a gatekeeper to your mind. So what does a gatekeeper do? The gatekeeper watches and recognizes what comes in or who comes in and who goes out a certain place. So practicing mindfulness is like keeping a gatekeeper to your actions and your words and your thoughts. So if you are aware of what you are doing, right, and if you know before what you are doing, and if you know what you're doing before doing, and if you know what you're saying before saying, by being mindful and by being aware, then it is very easy to control the unwholesome actions and unwholesome thoughts and unwholesome words that occurs in our life. And this helps us to be disciplined from our body, to be disciplined from our words, and will be easy to practice the virtuous behavior, and our practice of Sila will be even more productive. So that is how the mindfulness helps us to practice Sila. And also the second practice, how mindfulness helps us to practice Samadhi, or the concentration. Now, when you take the 4 foundations of mindfulness, there are 4 foundations of mindfulness according to Buddhism. Being mindful about your body is one foundation. That's the first foundation. Second one is being mindful about your feelings. And the third one is being mindful about your mental actions or the thoughts. And then being mindful about the mental objects, right? Like such as concepts and ideas and thoughts. So these 4 foundations of mindfulness, in the beginning, the Buddha teaches us how to be tranquilized. Okay, how to concentrate your mind. For an example, if you refer to Kayanupassana, the first practice of Kayanupassana is Anapanasati, or the breathing meditation, being mindful about the breathing. So the Buddha doesn't dive into the deep end at first to realize the true nature or the impermanence nature of the breath, the first thing that the Buddha says us or instruct us to do is to be mindfully breathe in and mindfully breathe out. Okay? Just be mindful when you breathe in and be mindful when you breathe out. Now, when you do this, your mind will be tranquilized. And it has the nature of bringing the calmness and bringing that serenity to your mind. So, mindfulness will lead you to practice the samadhi. Samadhi means the tranquilized nature of your mind, peacefulness in your mind. And also, as the final practice, it is the prajna or the panya in Buddhism. Prajna or panya is the realization of the true nature of life, realization of the three marks of existence in life. So what are the three marks of existence in life? First one is anicca, the nature of impermanence. Second one is dukkha, the nature of unsatisfiedness or the nature of suffering. And the third one is anatta, the nature of non-self. Now, to do this, to realize this true nature, you need to have a good wisdom. To have a good wisdom, you have to have a good practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you to focus your mind into one part of your life, and it's very easy to realize the true nature, the impermanence nature, once the mind is mindful and tranquilized. It's something like this. Let's say you're traveling in a train, okay? And you see all the sceneries in a very fast paced, and it's more like a motion blurred version. We don't see the real images, okay? Everything is blurred. So to realize and to see what the real nature and the real sceneries of around us, what we have to do, we have to get down from the train. We have to come into one place and to see and to enjoy that one nature of the life. So to do that, what we have to do, we have to come into one place and to focus on one thing at a time. To do that, the mindfulness helps us. And finally, how mindfulness helps us to practice the wisdom or the prajna. So the prajna is the ability to realize the true nature of our life. The true nature of our life is the impermanence. And the true nature of the existence is these three marks of existence. The impermanence nature, and the suffering nature, and the non-self nature. So to realize these three natures, what we have, we need to have a tranquilized mind and a well-focused mind and a good awareness. So practice of mindfulness will help us to bring the awareness to our life. So that will help us to bring more wisdom and to see the life in a more wiser way and a more profound way by practicing the mindfulness. So this is how the practice of mindfulness helps us to be more productive in Buddhist practice. So let's all practice this amazing practice of mindfulness in our life.